And then let's talk about a big issue. If you're watching this video, you're watching any video, if you're doing anything on the internet. And this is a story that's based in the United States, but it also does have an international impact. And that's often the case with any large, powerful country. When a country does something, the world looks and it can be used as an example. And the reason we're talking about this is the Senate has voted to gut internet privacy. And it was a vote that was split essentially across party lines, Republicans versus Democrats. And a lot of people are freaking out about this right now, and I feel like rightly so. Now, the heart of this situation, the problem right now, it has to do with your choice. Well, lawmakers who voted yes on this bill defended their decision, saying that the FCC restrictions were overly restrictive and innovation stifling. Those who are standing against it are saying that this is the beginning of the end of privacy online. And the only thing keeping this bill from being the new law of the land is it has to go through the House of Representatives and then Donald Trump has to sign it. And once that happens, your internet service provider will no longer have to ask you if you want to share information. They can just start collecting the contents of your communications, your precise geolocation, financial information, ton of stuff. The ISPs won't have to give you a chance to opt out of sharing that information. And if this passes, there's expected to be a transparency problem. According to reports, the FCC ruling forced ISPs to adopt data security practices to protect consumer information and this is the big important part, legally bound them to inform their customers if there was a suspect data breach. So the argument is if the rules are repealed, why would an ISP face that public embarrassment? Why would they risk lowering consumer confidence by telling people, oh, sorry, data breach, whoops, anyway, see you later. So then there's the question of, well, why would they want to gut these FCC regulations? Well, there are people that believe that it's because of the $1.7 million plus spent lobbying members of Congress who voted yes. But there's also the argument that the government should not be involved in this, that it does stifle, as they said, innovation and also profits. Because in large, that's what they're going to do with the information. They are going to make money off of you. They're going to take what you do online, your browsing data, and they're going to sell it to an advertising company. Where you're going, what you're doing, your age, your gender, your shopping habits, nationality, political affiliation, sexual orientation, everything about you. They'll sell that to an advertising company. That company then goes, okay, this is how we hyper-focus, and we can up how effective our advertising is. But also, that's just more information about you, what you do, what you're looking at. Like, again, to the hands of people you don't want to have that information. One of the recent examples was broadband provider TalkTalk. There was a data breach there that exposed the personal details of 157,000 customers, some of which included bank account and credit card information. And so let's say that happened to Verizon in the United States. If they weren't legally obligated to talk about that, why would they disclose that information if it wasn't already publicly available? Now, for some of you out there, you have no expectation of privacy. You don't care what they do with this information. Also, I want to take this time to remind you that encryption is your best friend. You can use things like the Tor browser. It's a free open source browser. It encrypts all your incoming and outgoing browsing traffic and relays it through a number of volunteer nodes before sending it to its destination. And what that means is even if the page is unencrypted, it doesn't have that HTTPS. Your ISP will be able to see that you're using the browser, but they won't be able to see what websites and web pages you're using. Now, the downside, it's a little slower, and like anything else, there are vulnerabilities there as well, which is why you can also use a VPN, a virtual private network. If you've watched the show for a while, you know that I've talked about this a lot. That encrypts your entire web traffic and puts it in this little secure tunnel. And then let's talk about a few political things. Remember this week when I talked about the Senate, specifically Senate Republicans, voting to reverse a landmark FCC privacy rule? A move that, in my opinion, stripped away consumer choice and really hurt the free market. If you need to understand why, go back and watch the Monday video. But the one hope was that people were going to call their representatives, the House would go, you know what? People are going to want this privacy rule to be put into place. Let's not strip it. Well, House Republicans also voted to gut the rule, and now it's going to be sent off to Donald Trump. So there you have it. ISPs won't even have to ask you if it's okay if they track what you're doing online and then they sell that information. And of course, to the question of, well, why would they do this? There is the argument some people have that they think that this is innovation stifling. It hurts the corporations. The government shouldn't be involved. And then there's also all this. All of this money sent to people in the House and the Senate from the communications industry. Maybe that had something to do with it.